for the 21st century. Welcome to week 11. So we are almost there in the end. By the way, before we start, let me just inform you that our last day would be June 26th. So June 26th, that's the final exam date. And you might be wondering, what is the final exam? Did we talk about the final exam before?
No.
Any idea?
Talking?
Talking? You like only talking? Yeah, because
or writing.
writing, yes. My idea is to put into practice what we are learning right now. So previously, we've learned critical thinking, right? And critical thinking is a skill that helps us how to think well. And I have used a simple cooking activity or baking activity to check how you think. As I've said, there's a problem with a cookie, and we try to figure out what's the problem. And we were able to solve the problem, not only me, but with your help, we were able to find out what's the problem, right? And not only finding out the problem, but we were able also to find the solution. So we have a problem, but it doesn't stop in there. What comes after knowing that there is a problem and recognizing a problem is the solution. And we've solved it, right? We've said that, oh, the problem with that cookie is it needs more flour. Okay? So I just used it as an example for us to understand how to think critically, okay? And how to look at problems. So this week, I made a recording about problem solving. Do you have any question related to problem solving? Or do we need to review again problem solving? I made the recording, right? So do you understand it well? Or would you like to look at it again together now so we can better understand problem solving? Okay, so let's go to that presentation. Where is that? I think this one. Okay, yes. Here, I was in advance just to give you another picture. Sorry, my slide is, I checked the slide and it's on the, yeah, I think this is it. Okay, so problem solving, as I've said, is related to critical thinking. We have learned last time that critical thinking is actually a higher cognitive learning. When we say higher cognitive learning, that means that we're learning things by making use of our mind. Some things that we put in our mind, we don't need to learn. I mean, we learn, but usually there's not so much effort. Like for example, if I would like to memorize what is the definition of water, I can easily memorize the definition of water and put it in my head. Okay, so it's very easy. And if I ask you, what is water? You can easily give me an answer based on what you have memorized. But when we look into problems, we cannot just make use of our memorization, but we have to use other skills. And that other skills or other skill in problem solving is critical thinking. And for us to understand problem solving is our ability to plan and organize. And again, I would like to repeat my example every day when you wake up. Okay? What is this? Every day when you wake up, there's something that I can't hear your voice from Sumin. You can't hear me? How about the others? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Minso,
Yes.
Jimboy.
Yes, I'm
I'm okay.
no problem.
Okay. Check your microphone, Sumin. I think it's on your end. So it's our ability to plan and organize. And I gave you a simple example of planning. Like, is it easy for you to decide what you will wear for the day? Like you wake up and you know you're going to school. Is it easy for you to decide? Or have you made a plan prior to sleeping the night before and you already prepared? This is what I will wear tomorrow. How do you do that?
Me also.
How do you do that? Do you plan ahead the day before, or do you plan right after waking up? I'm going to go to school. What will I wear? So is it a problem for you what to wear? Especially if you
Mm,
check the weather and you don't know whether it will be raining or it will be sunny or it will be, snowy, right? So it's hard to figure
mm,
out what to wear. So it's a simple problem and it needs to be solved. Why? Because the moment you make a mistake in choosing your outfit, what are the possibilities? Let's try to infer. What are the possibilities of what's this? Okay, so wait. What are the possibilities that you will make a mistake? Like it's a big, right? So what can happen if you make a mistake? Like you said, oh, it will not be very cold today, so I'll just choose a light jacket. And then it so happened it became very cold. So what is the consequence? You will feel cold, right?
mm, yes,
Right? You'll feel cold. And so if you
so
don't have access to
I
jacket,
remember.
yeah,
Mhm,
you will be chilling. Especially you did not bring extra jacket. So that's a problem, right? Especially if you went to school early morning and you can go home late at night. What are you going to do? And you're chilling. So if you know how to solve your problem, if you know how to make a decision, because after recognizing a problem, what comes after is your decision, right? Facing the problem is first and then making up a decision. Okay? So if you know how to solve the problem, you can plan. So, like for example, oh, I always wake up late, and because I'm waking up late, I'm always late in my class. And so, is that a problem? Yeah, it's a problem if you want to recognize it as a problem. So, what's the problem? You're always late in class. How can you find a solution? Maybe uh, you're going to move your class into a later schedule, but it's not impossible anymore because you are already set on that class. So, how will you solve it? Will you always make an everyday reason of, I'm sorry, teacher, I did not catch the bus, I did not catch the train, right? Probably you can use that reason for one time, but the next time it's 16 weeks. How can you survive? So maybe your plan would be to what? Maybe you'll tell yourself, okay, I'm gonna prepare. I cannot admit so mean, sorry. I'm gonna prepare what I will wear tomorrow so I don't have to spend time thinking. Or maybe because I need 8 hours of sleep, I will be sleeping early. So right after I wake up, I have 8 hours of sleep. So as easy as that. I mean, I don't want to give you heavy issues because you have to understand that problem solving need not to be big. Okay, that's solving problem. After you know there's a problem, you cannot turn your back. What you have to do would be to face it and decide. Okay, now if in case you made a mistake, like my example a while ago, you made a mistake in choosing your clothes, okay, or your outfit, and you realized, oh, I made the wrong choice, it's too cold and I've chosen a very light jacket. Or it's the other way around. If the other way around, it's easy. You just have to remove your jacket. But the problem is if it's too cold, then you learn that, okay, the weather is so unpredictable. So I might just wear something light, but I have to carry with me an extra jacket. So from that mistake, that's why I say allow yourself to make a mistake. Because when you make a mistake, you learn from that mistake. That mistake will not let you lose your face. That mistake is your step to learning, right? So that's why, guys, I tell you, don't be afraid to make a mistake. Because when you make a mistake, you learn from it. Either it's a successful solution to a problem or you did not get the solution, just the same, you learn from it. Okay? Next, work with others. We will be doing this. For now, or since the beginning of the semester, I always ask you to do something by yourself, right? You have submitted a lot of video doing it by yourself. But after this session, I will test you, not I will test. I will give you an opportunity to work with other people. Okay? So there are only 5 of you. Minchon is absent. Minchon did not show up because I think something came up and he said that he can't join us tonight, but only tonight. So working with others, maybe, I don't know, would you like to be divided or would you like to work together as a group? What do you think about that?
Uh,
Work together, the 5 of you as a group?
what is synchro? I
Oh,
can't.
I'm going to give you a project, and I'm
Mm,
thinking that you don't do the project alone, but for us to apply what we're learning, like collaboration and teamwork,
uh,
I'm going to group you together. Okay? I don't know if 5 is big, because if 5 is big, I might divide you into 2, but if you're excited to work with other people, you're just 5 here, then you can do the work together. Okay? So this is very challenging. Why? Because you have different mindset. You have different way of thinking. You have different experiences. Like your major is different, right? And so when you work with others, 2 ways. Either you enjoy working with each other or you hate each other. So I don't know where will you be after doing the project. You will appreciate the presence of each other or you will hate each other. But you have to take the challenge. You have to really learn how to work with other people. It doesn't mean that one idea should be accepted by all. If you think that you have a point, raise it out. Because the idea here is, remember, when you go to work after you finish university, you cannot choose the people you will be working with, right? So this is a good opportunity to practice working with others. Now, another thing that you will learn when you're given a problem to solve is to use your initiative. What is initiative? Initiative is making a decision to be the first. Like my example in the recorded video, you are approaching the elevator and there's another person approaching the elevator, 2 hands holding things, and you see that that person doesn't have anymore an extra hand to press on the button. So what can you do? You take the initiative because you experienced before. It's so hard to press the elevator's buttonhole if I have if I'm carrying things. So initiative would mean even though that person is not asking you to do it for him or for her, you did it ahead, right? So that's also a problem. It can be a way of, that's an earning. That's something that you earn if you know how to solve problem. And also, when you do problem solving, you will be given the opportunity to lead. Like you'll say, oh, I'm not a good leader. No, each one of you has the capacity to lead. So maybe one will lead doing one project, another one will lead doing another thing. So all of you, even though you're working together as a team, can lead each other. Okay? So one way of testing if you are a good leader is if you can follow orders. Leading is not doing everything for the group. Leading is giving direction, helping people to get organized, helping each other how to learn and how to participate and how to, do things for a good project outcome. Okay? Next, taking risk. When I give you a project, either that you did it well, you execute it the way I'm expecting you to do it, or you missed the point. Okay? So whether you deliver it well, or maybe it's a missed thing, taking the risk is something that again will help you to learn. Okay? And another thing, as I've said, when you solve problems, it is an opportunity for you to think critically. Not only critically, but becoming creative. What is creative thinking? Creative thinking means that you are willing to take the risk to think even out of the box. What is out of the box thinking? Out of the box thinking is giving you the limitation to think of a solution. Like you have a box, and on that box are the different solution to the problem. But after looking at the box, you cannot find a good solution for the problem. So what you're going to do would be, okay, this box is not helpful. I'll put it aside. I'm going to find a way to solve my problem. So that's creative thinking. Whatever you can do to solve an issue. Okay, so as I've said, look, when I ask you to do projects, I don't tell you that okay, you have to you have to do your project only from the materials I've given. I don't also tell you you have to use this, you have to do this only. What I usually do when I give project is it's all up to you how you would like to express yourself, right? If you want to do a writing, it's okay. If you want to do a video, it's okay. If you want to record your voice, it's okay. Because I am giving you the opportunity to express yourself creatively. You get that now? That's why no similar things when you do something. Because I really want you to be creative. Creativity is not only expressed into something tangible. Creativity can come out from the video presentation that you have done, right? Creativity can come out the way you express yourself. So do you see now the beauty of learning how to solve problem? Do you see now the beauty of solving problem? These are the many things that you can develop in yourself if you always face an issue and solve it. Okay? So moving, we are learning what is problem solving, right? So why is it important for us to learn problem solving. It says here, and I've said many times that every day, from the moment we wake up, wherever we are, at home, in school, on the way to school, with family, anywhere, the problem will usually occur or comes out, right? So whether you're working like Sumin was working before, she faces problem. Even though you're a plain student, you face this problem. Performing different roles, like for example, if you're at home and your parents are there, what's the role that you have? You are a son, Minso, right? Or for Jinwon, you are a daughter. But when you go to school, you have a different role to play. When you are in school, you're not a daughter because you're not at home, but you are a student. And if you are with your friend, Sumin, you are not a student, first and foremost, if you are out of school, but a friend to your friend. And if Sola probably has an organization and she leads the organization, she's not simply Sola. She is a leader in the organization. So problem can follow you. It can be anywhere. That's why we should learn how to acknowledge problem. Okay? Sometimes you don't want a problem, but it comes in front of you, right? Like when the teacher give you a project, it's a problem, right? When your mother tells you to do something and you're doing something, it's a problem, especially if it's hard to do or hard to perform. Why? Because problem has an intentionality, meaning to say it's given to you, like your parents are helping you how to become independent. Your teacher is helping you how to learn the most from the lesson because they want you to become better. So it's made intentionally. Like for example, assignments are problem or homeworks are problem. When you're given math problem, when you're given a case to analyze, when you're given a question, those are problems. And those are ways to help you learn. Okay? And what is conceptual anchoring? So conceptual anchoring is like, for example, you're studying math. The teacher will usually give you a problem to solve, right? Inside the classroom, like if you're studying accounting, the teacher will give you an accounting problem, right? Or if you're studying maybe science, the teacher will give you a science problem. We call that anchoring. You know what's an anchor? An anchor, like it looks like this, a hook. Or not a hook, but it looks like this. And usually it's used by the boat. So when the boat is about to dock, they usually drop that anchor so that the boat will not move to the middle of the sea because of the wind. It will stick in there because there's an anchor that is planted on the bed of the sea so that it will hold it there. So same also to the conceptual anchoring. The questions are given to you so that it will intensify your learning in math, in science, or maybe in marketing, or maybe if you are already working in the workplace. Okay? So you get this conceptual anchoring. And then another one is ontology. Ontology means the beginning or what knowledge can we get. Remember the problem that I asked you, that I shared with you a while ago? I said that you are choosing your outfit for the day and then you realize that you made a wrong choice and that from that wrong choice, you realized I better get prepared so that when the weather changes and it becomes cold, I will not feel cold, but instead I can put on my jacket. Okay? So if you can face everyday problem, And if you're not afraid to face the problem, that sometimes teacher will give you a problem. And that problem you don't understand. What do you do if you don't understand? What do you do? There are times, right, that sometimes there are times that you're given an assignment, a homework, and you don't understand. What do you do?
Ask one more time.
Okay, the teacher gave you a problem, and that problem is something you don't understand. What do you do?
Maybe don't understand.
Yeah, you don't understand the problem. You don't know what to do. So what do you do if you don't understand the problem?
Ask other.
Again, Minsu, what did you say?
Ask other.
Yes, ask others. Okay, when you say ask others, who's that other?
For example, friends or internet.
Okay, that's wrong.
Or expert, yes.
That's wrong.
Really?
Yeah. See, why? I'll tell you why. If you ask the internet may give you an answer. Right? But it is something that is not according to what the problem giver said. Who gave you the problem? Go back. Think. Who gave you the problem?
Teacher.
The teacher. So who's the right person to ask? To ask is a good move, right? It's a good action. But who is the right person to ask? Don't ask your classmate because your classmate might not know it also. Don't ask the internet. Don't ask friends because they don't know about that. So if that is given by a person, ask the person. Like a while ago, I was giving you a question and Jinwon said, can you say that again? If she didn't say that, I will just be waiting for you, right? But because you said, can you say it again? Then it's a problem a while ago. Why? Because you don't understand what I said. And the problem has been solved right after you asked me to say it again. So my point here is when you are facing a problem, it's good to ask for help. But the thing that you have to think about is who to ask help. So always when you have a problem, okay, address the problem to the right person, to the problem giver. Because in the workplace, like for example, you and your boss don't understand each other. And you just keep quiet because you said, I'm respecting my boss. Keeping quiet will not solve the problem. Okay? Gossiping the issue will not solve the problem. How will you solve the problem? If you have a problem not understanding the problem given to you by a person, like a teacher, okay? Don't ask other people. Ask the problem giver. Now, how about if the problem is on the book? You cannot ask the book, hey, tell me, what's the problem, right? That's the time that you have to look for a person that will help you understand the problem. You get that? So it's simple. It's something that you have to understand. Who's the problem giver? Direct the question to that person. The problem coming from the book, ask the help of another person. The problem with the outfit, you don't know, and you have a problem whether it will rain, it will be cold, that can be answered, right? Get your smartphone, check the weather app. Oh, it will rain later. Problem solved? Yes. Because if you just sit down and do nothing and have choices, that choices or that choice of solution to the problem might not be the best answer. Okay? Because you did not consult anybody. That's why it's important to learn how to face a problem. You follow? Okay, so how do you solve the problem? First thing, you have to recognize what's a problem because sometimes problems are difficult to understand. So, what process do you use? Like a while ago, the teacher gave you a problem. So, you don't understand. What will you do? Ask the teacher. Okay? The teacher cannot give you an answer. That's a time that you will ask a friend. But usually, the one who gave you an intentional problem, ask that person. Now, to test whether you understand it is to explain it to other people. If you don't understand the problem, you cannot open it up. Like, for example, if I ask you, what's the problem? And there's nothing you can say. So maybe there's an issue, maybe there's a problem, but you don't know what the problem is because you don't know how to say it. Okay? So it is important before you find a solution to first understand what is the problem. Okay? Don't hurry to find a solution because the solution might be wrong because you have seen a wrong problem. You have to make sure that you are finding a solution to the right problem. Okay, you follow? Next,
Yes.
do these processes vary depending upon the problem? Yes. Problems can be very big. A problem can be very small. So the smaller the problem, the easier the solution. The bigger and more complicated the problem, the more time you need to think about it. Okay? Like for example, career decision. If I graduate, what kind of work do I want to do? Okay? What kind of work do I want to do? So, who can give you an answer? Maybe a guidance counselor can give you an answer after that guidance counselor or career counselor will assess you. But the right person to ask, what is the best thing I can do, is you. It doesn't mean that you're the only one who will give an answer. You can seek counseling, you can seek the advice of other people. There's nothing wrong about that. But the last thing that you have to do is stand on your decision. Because if you stand on your decision, that means to say, whatever happens, yourself is to be blamed. A person who blames other people for having a wrong solution to a problem is somebody who's insane. A responsible person take control of the problem. Okay? And then, what skills do you need to use in problem solving? So problem in life sometimes don't have choices. Okay? Like when you're given a multiple choice problem in a test, A, B, C, D, it's easy to choose, right? Because you're given the choices. However, if the choices are very close to each other, it's hard to make a judgment, right? Because judgment does not just come out automatically. Judgment to a problem needs to be analyzed. Why am I choosing A instead of B? Why am I not choosing C among all? Why do I eliminate D? So you try to analyze before you make judgment, right? You can combine these two, or one can work in a simple problem. And then you have to make a decision. is my choice right? But of course, in a test, you cannot ask other people, right? You have to decide for yourself. Okay, so I eliminated D because this is not the answer. C is not the answer. The answer is A or B, but I need just one answer. You have to decide now whether the right answer is A or B. Okay? And that judgment, your choice, whether you choose A over B, is dependent on how you analyze it. Okay, you follow? Sometimes problems don't have an answer. And what you have to do is, can you see my cursor? Can you see what I'm doing? And sometimes what you need to do is to collect information. I cannot answer it by myself. So where will I find the answer? Maybe I'll ask Binsu. Maybe I'll ask Jinwon. Maybe I'll ask Sumin. Or maybe I'll ask Sola. Just like the problem with the cookie, I ask you, right? I seek help from you. So what's your opinion about this? And also, when you solve the problem, you just don't immediately solve it, but you plan. Okay? What you're doing now, getting ready for the 21st century workplace, you're planning for yourself. How can you be better prepared for the workplace? You follow? Ask yourself now, do I have the skills? If yes, good for you. If no, have it because you need these skills. If you have it already, practice, 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 and practice. Because practice makes perfect. Okay? Moving on. Do you want to become a problem solver? Remember, knowledge worker are tuk-tuk, right? The knowledge professional are tuk-tuk. They make more money than people who do not think. And people who think are problem-solving people. Okay? So if you are a problem-solving people, or if you're a problem-solving person, you are expert. And once you're expert, people will pay you for your thinking. You want that? Make money out of your mind, out of your tuk-tukness, right? And also, people will come to you because they know that you know how to solve the problem, right? They know that solving problem for you is very easy. And also, if you help other people solve problem, you're also helping yourself. Why? Because the more problems you face, the better you become. When problem comes to you, it's not difficult anymore. It becomes natural, right? And also, people who can think of alternatives even when no clear solution seems apparent means you are creative. That's why we seek experts. That's why we ask consultants to be part of a project because we need their opinion, we need their ideas, we need their mind in order for us to do the project better. Okay, you follow? Any question? Minsu,
Okay.
okay?
Okay.
What? You have a question?
Just poker. I don't know.
You forgot? Okay, you think about it again and then you can ask me later. So,
Okay.
in your life now as a student, what types of problem can you learn to solve? One thing that you have to know is how to recognize a problem. The second thing that you have to understand is what are the different types of problem. As I've told you, before you can find a solution, you have to understand first what's the problem and how will you solve that problem. So here, the first sample is decision making. Going back to the outfit of the day, what will I wear? This, this, this. You have to make a decision, right? Troubleshooting. You're taking an exam. You're writing your answer. All of a sudden, no more ink, no extra pen. What will you do?
Borrow someone.
Okay, but you cannot just stand up and borrow from someone because it's an exam. So, good thing that you're thinking to borrow from someone, but first, you will ask permission from the teacher. Teacher, excuse me, I don't have any ink. Can I ask people to let me borrow their pen, right? So troubleshooting. Like some students that I have, makes me feel, I don't know. I tell them, okay guys, get a piece of paper and ready your pen. And you know what some students say? Teacher, no paper. Teacher, no pen. Whose problem is that? Mine or them?
Then I think.
Yeah, see, if people don't think, they give you their problem. It's not my problem because I don't need a pen. I don't need a paper. It's not me who's taking the quiz. It's their problem. So what can you do if you don't have a paper and a pen? Take the initiative. Hey guys, anybody who has an extra paper? Anybody who has an extra pen, right?
Yes.
Don't just sit down and wait for people to come to you. That's not right. So troubleshooting, okay? What is diagnostic solution? Can you give an example of diagnostic solution? So do you diagnose first? What is the problem? How do you do that? You see this puzzle? You see this, where they are stepping on? What if I ask you to put it together? What will you do? And if I tell you, you can only have 4 moves to put it together. So what will you do? You will diagnose first, right? What fits into what fits into what, and how we put it together. That's diagnostic. You try to look at something, and this one is a figure. How can I put this together? Okay, you cannot just put it together because it's both like this. So it has to be this one to be placed here, and this one to be placed here, and this to another, right? So that's diagnostic. How about story problem?
No idea.
No idea, story problem? Remember my cookie?
What is story problem?
What is a story? A story is something that is told to you. Like, you know what? I baked the other day and I do have a problem because the cookie that came out of my oven is not the cookie that I expect to come out from the oven. I'm telling you my story. Or you know what,
Sorry.
Minsu? I'm brokenhearted. My boyfriend broke up with me. That's a story. So I'm telling you the story. So sometimes the problem is not given to you in a form of text, like not in a form of like this. But sometimes you hear it from other people. That's why I'm telling you my cookie problem. No illustration, but I'm telling you. So that's a story problem. Or when you are taking business management, a story problem can be a case study. Okay? A case study. How about strategic performance? Strategic performance. Usually, when we say performance, we are talking about to achieve something. And to give you an example, one way to give you a strategic performance type of problem is assuming I'm your boss and I tell you we have to sell package tours in Daegu. We need to sell 100 tours a day. Okay? So the four of you, Minsu, Jinwon, Sola, Sumin, each of you should sell 25 package tours. Okay? Why do I say 25 each for you? Because we are targeting 100 package tours for the day. Now, you come back to me after 1 week and you reported, oh, I was able to make 7 on Monday, 8 on Tuesday, Wednesday, blah, 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 blah. And I divided it equally. 25 for Minso, 25 for Jinwon, 25 for Sola, and 25 for Sumin. And when you came back and when we have the meeting, Sola was able to sell more than 100. Okay? But Pinsu came and he was only able to sell 10. Sumin was able to sell 25 and Jinwon was able to sell 50. So, do we have a problem? Do we have a problem? We do have a problem. We do have a problem. Why? Because I told you with Sola, she doesn't have a problem. She gave me more than what I asked from her. But Minsu, you have a problem because I told you that you have to sell 25 every day. And 25 every day times 7, that is 175. Okay? So strategic performance is comparing Minsu's selling to Jinwon's selling, to Sola's selling, and to Sumin's selling. So that's strategic performance. Now, I will ask Minsu, why Minsu? How did you do the selling? Right? Because I need to find out, because it's a problem. I need to find out how come Minsu was not able to hit the target. So that's strategic performance. Strategic performance is you have a goal, and that goal is sales. And for you to assess, okay, that's a problem, right? Because it has to be put into action. And what you do after that is to make a report. Why, Minsu, you only were able to sell this much? Okay? And so I will not scold you, but we will analyze what is the problem of Minsu. Oh, I see. Because Minsu is male, so he doesn't talk much because he's male. But these 3 ladies, because they're very good with their words, was able to perform well. So that's analyzing. You follow strategic performance. Also policy analysis. Like nowadays, the government has came up with some policy in order to avoid the spread of COVID-19. What policy? Nobody will be allowed to take the public transport without mask. Right? The government is imposing social distancing. And also the government is giving an assistance to the buying of masks. What happened today? What happened in the last few days? We have again cases, right? There was an increased number. What happened? Because of the Itaewon case. Have you heard about that? The Itaewon case? There is a second outbreak because of the Itaewon partying. Okay, so what's wrong? So when I analyze that policy, I am addressing the problem. You follow? Now, what is a dilemma? A dilemma is something that you are caught in a situation that is hard to make a decision. Minsu is handsome. Minsu has a
Thank
girl.
you.
Yeah, Minsu has a girlfriend. Minsu, do you have a girlfriend? No. Okay, I'll give you a
No.
girlfriend, Minsu. You have two girlfriends and you want to get married, but you love both of them. But you cannot marry both of them, okay? You can just marry one. And you keep on thinking, I love them both. Who will I choose? That's a dilemma, right? Because so you're just an example here, okay? You are an
Okay.
example. So you're trying to weigh. I love A. I love B. I weigh A. I weigh B. They're the same. But I cannot marry them both. I have to choose one. And you cannot decide who, A or B. I can't choose. I cannot afford to lose any of them. That's a dilemma. Okay? A dilemma is something that it's very hard for you to, to choose from this issue. Let's take another serious dilemma, serious issue. We all know that the tourism industry is a major industry here in Korea, right? So Korea is making money out of its tourists. But right now, Korea is close to the tourists coming from overseas, right? Right? So Korea is in a dilemma. What is the dilemma? If there are no tourists coming from overseas, it means that no income will come from tourism, right? So the government, if the government doesn't have money, might think, I need money. So I'll just risk the safety of my people and allow this overseas tourists to come in. Okay? Now, another thinking would be, I will open the airport so that people coming from overseas can come here and I can make money. So that's a very hard choice for the government, to close the airport or to open the airport. Closing the airport would mean keeping its people safe, right? Because there's no carrier of the disease. But doing that means no money for Korea coming from tourism. So that's a dilemma. That problem is something that has been thought many times before they make a decision. Okay? My examples to the problem are very simple, but it's just simple problems so that you can easily think of an answer. But in life, as we grow older, as we take more responsibility, problems becomes bigger. Okay? You follow? There any question about this? Okay? Understand everything?
Yeah, understand.
Okay. So problems in life comes into two categories. We have the well-defined and the ill-defined. When we say well-defined, we can easily see, oh, this is a problem. Okay? Ill-defined is we cannot figure out what the problem is. So before we go to this one, okay, I have to see this thing, right? So the well-defined and the ill-defined. Okay. Well-defined means one correct solution, but there are multiple ways to achieve this one solution. Okay? The ill-defined is more than one correct solution. And there are also different ways to give the solution. What is easy for you?
Ill-defined.
Ill-defined? No, this is easier. Well-defined is easier,
Choose one.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, well-defined is easier because it's easy to figure out what's a problem. But in life, okay, always we face the ill-defined problem. So everyday work problems are often ill-defined. So the more practice that you do, the more that you expose yourself to problem solving, the better you will be. Get that? Okay. So going back to this one, what can happen to you? Okay, or what attributes can you get if you are a problem solver? So meaning that you don't turn your back to a problem, but okay, I'll face it, right? Making links. Making links is not just impulsively or immediately solving the problem, but trying to connect the dots. Okay, like the cookie problem. I just cannot imagine what happened to the cookie. So I have to research. I have to find what is the problem. So I make links. And I only did not make links, but I ask you, Minsu, what do you think is the problem? Jinwon, Sola, Sumin. Okay? Then the problem with the cookie, I did not just do it once. I persist on perfecting until I learn from every baking activity that I do. Calculated risk, as I've said, whenever you come up with a solution, there's always a risk. Like Minso, your problem, your girlfriend, two people, right? So what is the risk? Okay, assuming you choose A, and then you're living with A because you're now husband and wife, and you realize, I should have chosen B because B is a perfect match for me. Now, I don't know how you will solve that, okay? But what I'm trying to point out is you took the risk, okay? Sometimes in a problem, you have to be alone when you face it. So you become an independent learner, okay? And once you have a problem, what you have to do is to persevere, okay? You have to keep on trying. I failed. That's okay. I'm gonna try it again. I failed. That's okay. I'll keep on going. So you persevere until you perfect it. Okay? Self-motivated. You don't do things because Oma said, Appa said, teacher said. You face it because you know that if you come up with a solution to this, you will become a better person. Okay? Flexibility means what? What is
Thinking is.
flexibility? Like you're very elastic, right? Sometimes whatever your choice is not the good choice, but you have to take it because that's the best solution. So you have to be flexible. Remember, guys, not everything that happens in our life we like it, right? Sometimes we're frustrated with what's happening in our life, especially if we are working hard and the effort is not something that you get immediately, right? So you get frustrated. So you have to, learn how to be flexible, and you have to learn how to motivate yourself. and becoming creative and resourceful, sometimes you think that I don't have any solution. Remember this: if it's a problem, there's always a solution to it. If there's no solution, it's not a problem. I always think of it that way. A problem always has a solution. Something that does not have a solution is not a problem. But only thing sometimes is the problem has to be solved in a creative and resourceful way. Okay? Question? This is something interesting, right?
Yes. Yes.
Very interesting, because this will help you. Now, I'd like to end this by giving you this pyramid. I got this from the Institute for Applied Behavioral Science. How do we learn? I say we, I include myself because I'm still a student. Student of life, okay? Not student enrolled, but student of life. I'm a lifelong learner. According to the study, 5% of what we learn it from the lecture, from what we hear from the teacher. Okay, that's just 5%. 10% of what you learn from what you read. That's why I tell you, keep on learning, whether you hear from professor or whether you read. 20%, if you have this, okay? If I'm just talking, you learn less because it's just a lecture. But if I'm talking and I'm giving you a presentation like this, you learn 20%. And if you're also reading what I am presenting, you are maximizing your learning, right? And 30% of what you learn from demonstration. What is demonstration? I'm giving you cases. Like I said, Minsu has 2 girlfriends. So that's a demonstration on how to solve a dilemma. Okay? So 30% you learn from a demonstration. 50% of what you learn when you interact. When you ask me questions, when you give your example, when we are all engaged in a discussion. Okay? And we learn 75% of what we learn by doing. That's why I ask you, do this, make a presentation, because if you can do things, you learn. You know that you know how to do it because you were able to deliver something. And most importantly, you learn the most effective. That's why I love to teach. The most effective is you learn 90% of what you learn when you teach someone else. Interesting, right? So, how to help yourself learn? Do this. Listen from a lecture, read, have some audiovisual presentation. That's why I tell you, okay, you have to do a presentation, because having a presentation will help each other understand better where you're coming from. Ask people, do it, and then present. Because presenting is teaching someone else. Because teaching someone else, like what I'm doing now, it makes me remember. It makes me think better. Okay? So,
Understand.
yeah. So that's about problem solving. The next things that we will be learning are also skills. Wait. Let me just get it here. Oops. What did I do? Wait, I cannot see my other here. This one. Huh. Okay. So this is the lecture notes that I gave you, right? This is the lecture notes that I gave you. I hope I can do it right here. Okay. So this is what we have seen. So learning and innovation here. This is what we finish. Critical thinking and problem solving, right? So I focus on this because this is very important for you. What will come next is communication and collaboration. What we are using now is we are communicating to each other. Collaboration will happen after I do this. So creativity and innovation is another thing that you have to learn. Can you just write this down? Write down communication and collaboration. Write down also creativity and innovation. And little more. Digital literacy. Okay, so that includes information literacy, media literacy, and ICT. And this is the last part, career and life skills. All these things we are going to learn, okay, by doing a project. Okay, and so what is that project? The project is we still have lesson 3 or part 3, which will cover the creative ways of problem solving. How do we solve problem? I will attach to our, I will upload in the Edward portal lesson 3. And what I would like you to do is go over lesson 3. Remember reading, okay? After you read, next week, I'll give you time to think about how can you present part 3. So altogether, the 5 of you, Jinwon, Sumin, Sola, Minsu, and Kevin, will be working together and doing a presentation for part 3. The same way that I'm doing presentation in this lecture. So you have to collaborate. Remember, there's collaboration. You have to collaborate to finish a presentation which will be credited as your final exam activity. Okay? So that's your final exam activity. No written test. Your final examination output is a group project. The 5 of you. Okay? So you have to,
And
yes, Jinwon.
then we are all together
Yes,
presentation,
yes, all of you together.
uh,
So
not
that's,
divided.
no, together.
All together.
Remember, that is what we call collaboration. I told you, you will do collaboration. So collaboration is working together as a team. Okay, that's why I'm thinking, should I make 2 groups? No, you're just 2, so it's hard. The 5 of you together, you have to collaborate. Communication will come in how? For you to finish the project, you have to talk. I don't mind if you talk in Korean. Okay? I don't mind if you talk in Korean. You will be conducting a meeting, deciding who will be the lead, who will be doing this, who will be doing that. But before you meet together, you have to read first what is part 3. Okay? So collaboration is doing it all together. Communication is talking to each other on a meeting. Okay? You have to get an account. You have to use Zoom, okay, and record your meeting, because I will be grading you on that communication activity. It doesn't need to be in English. It's okay if the 5 of you will talk in Korean. That's okay. But I just want a recorded communication on how you will work as a team to finish the presentation. Okay? Now, other things. Creativity will come in also. How? Creativity and innovation will come out because I will give you the content of part 3. You are going to present the content of part 3 depending on how you understand it, depending on your understanding of part 3. Remember, I used to give you activities like one example of an activity that I have given you is, how do you think you should learn, right? And you made the video presentation. Here, the project together is, how will you execute the content of part 3 in a way that you understood it well? So like for example, part 2, I covered critical thinking, right? I also covered problem solving. How did I do it? I gave you lecture notes, and aside from lecture notes, I gave you a presentation, right? I recorded critical thinking. I let you preview it. I recorded problem solving. I let you preview it, and we talk about the 2 issues so we can really understand, we can really check whether you understand problem solving and critical thinking. Okay? So, for part 3, whatever you get from part 3, together you talk. How can you make people understand? Not when I say people, how can you make the other students understand the content of that part 3? So how will you make it simple? How will you make it understandable to other people? And the way you do that is like a presentation. You see my problem solving presentation? I have there, colors, I use icons, I use simple words, I use everything to make you understand it. I use an illustration. So same thing also that you will do for part 3. Okay? So I want you to talk about it together. Now, next week, I will not be uploading any video because I want you to use one session next week to talk. So record the conversation. I don't know what time you would like to meet together. Just make sure that when you talk like this, you record your conversation, you video everything, you do it like this, Zoom type, and then I'm going to watch that. And you'll get the credit for the attendance after you submitted that video to me. So at least 1 hour of talking. Oh, it's good because it's in Korean. You don't need to speak in English if you don't want to, because I want you to understand each other. Okay? Is that clear?
Then we will present on June 26th.
Yes, June 1. You will present on June 26. When you say present, okay, so it need not to be you talking, but your finished project will be presented on that date. So when you do your presentation, just like what I'm doing, you can record your voices, you can make use of animation, whatever way you want to express yourself is okay. I just need for next week a proof of you meeting together, and I want to see how you did the meeting, the communication. So I want to have the names of people who attended the meeting, what will be the contribution of work coming from each of you. So you have to talk together and find out who's good in what activity, who's good at this, and then your strengths or your assets put together for one presentation. That presentation should be at least 45 minutes. Okay, so that's a
45.
yes, minimum of 45 minutes. You need not to do it in one time. That's why we are starting as early as this time. So you can probably do one portion, 15 minutes, another portion, another, then put it together. Your minimum to complete that project is 45 minutes. Now, I will supervise you as you do the project. So you do it right. That's what we call mentoring. I will be with you during our session to guide you on how to do it better. You don't need to do a presentation yet. Remember, the first thing that you have to do when you work on a project is planning first. You have to plan and you have to organize how you will execute the project. Okay?
Mhm.
Yeah, Minsu, I
Oh,
can see something.
I missed the subject. So, uh, what should we make
Part 3.
subject?
Yeah, you're going to prepare a presentation of part 3 of this 21st century. I will upload part 3
Okay.
and then you are going to execute part 3 through a presentation.
Mm.
So did I answer your question?
Yes, I understand.
Okay, any other question? This is very exciting because this is application. Any other question? I'll give you the guidelines clearly. But for now, what I want you to do is read part 3. As I will upload it later. So you can access it. And then when you meet together, I don't know who will call the meeting. You have to divide. You have to work together, as I've said. I don't know who will call the meeting. I don't know who will lead. You negotiate. Okay, you negotiate. I will not say, Minsu, you're the leader. No, I want you to work together and divide the work, but one has to lead. You have to decide as a group who will lead the group. The leader doesn't mean we'll get a high score. No, you will all be given the same depending on your contribution. I'll give you the best grade. When I say best grade, the best that you can get from this class. Okay? So if in case you have questions, let's ask and answer each other using KakaoTalk so that everybody can see the questions. Okay? So send your question in our Kakao group message. My internet connection is unstable. So that's it for tonight. Thank you for listening. Thank you for your participation. And I'm excited to see your project. Bye-bye. Good night.
Bye. Thank you.
Professor,
Thank you. Yes.
thank you.